Hey guys, welcome to high definition recording of Battlefield 3 multiplayer gameplay brought to you by Windshear. Yes, I'm still alive. Just apologize. I've been busy with work and everything else. But honestly, I haven't been getting as much Battlefield 3 gameplay as I'd like to have lately. But that's probably a good thing because lately the game's really been frustrating with just the rampant 12 gauge frags, mad kills, glitching, cheating. I think the community and I are pretty upset with DICE about how long they're taking to put out a patch. And this footage is describing the finally released patch details as of February 23rd, which they had, I guess, apparently miscommunication is what they're calling it now, detailing before that they were going to have a patch out by the end of the month, February that is, but apparently that's not the case. But now they finally got the details out, all 7 pages here, and I want to describe the highlights of those details in person with you, and give you some recommendations on. Or just give you some footage here of some gameplay, some decent gameplay I had. This is with the L85A2 on Metro. But let's get into the general gameplay fixes here. This is like the core mechanics of the stuff. They're fixing the fall damage, which is great. No longer you lose half your health for falling 2 feet. And they're also fixing the blank screen fade-in on spawns, which I just can't stand. I thought I was the only one that noticed that, but when you spawn in, they're gonna reduce that time it takes you to come out of the black fade. They're also increasing your spawn protection time. They're doubling it from 1 to 2 seconds unless you fire or you move. So give yourself a second when you spawn in to kind of realize what's going on. You should have protection there for just a little bit of time. It's no longer you getting instantly spawn killed, which is just a complete annoyance. They are increasing the accuracy and recoil when a player is fully suppressed. I guess that's good and bad. I don't know. I think when you're being suppressed, you shouldn't really be able to do anything. But I guess they're going to be adjusting that so it's not completely debilitating to you. The bipod, I'll talk more about that later on. But they're basically making it much more effective to use on slopes and rails, mounting on cars and vehicles, because that's one of my chief complaints about the bipod. You never could use it anywhere because it was so difficult to deploy it. Let's get into the vehicle fixes that they have coming up. First of all, tow weapons are going to do more damage to vehicles, which is great. You have the station-mounted AT turrets. They're increasing the damage on mounted machine guns on the tank, which is another plus if you ask me. It won't take as many bullets to kill guys at long range and all that, which is good. Basically, they're reducing the time to lock on to targets once they've been laser designated either by a SOFLAM or maybe a TV mounted station on the tank. The big one here is, and a lot of people have complained about this probably, are the stingers. They're basically making the stinger now, when it hits your vehicle or your air vehicle, a one-hit disable. Now, before you start just raising hell about that, bear in mind that they're significantly reducing the range of the stinger to make it only effective in a confined area or certain area. No longer, and this was a big frustration as a pilot when you're flying around, no longer will a guy with the stinger be able to lock on you halfway across a map and you're just constantly getting missiles shot at you all the time. So now they are basically one-hit kill, but in a much smaller radius, so keep that in mind. They're reducing the damage of the gunner position in the chopper against armor. Kind of disappointed about that, but they are also increasing the damage of helicopter pilot rockets versus infantry and other helicopters, which it never ceases to amaze me how I could put 14 rocket pods on one infantryman and he lives through that, so that's great. And this is kind of maybe a Call of Duty thing that they're doing here now, but they're making cars, like just parked cars, explosive again like they have been, but whenever they kill you, you get credit for that kill, and they're increasing the ability of those cars to explode. So watch out when you're next to stationary explosive vehicles and cars, because they can take you out now and the enemy will they'll get credit for that kill. But another big one now, this will be interesting to see how it changes the tactics with flares and combating air vehicles. But flares are no longer able to break your lock once you're locked on. They'll only distract from missiles. So, a classic tactic I would use is I would have a guy, just about have that lock on, because you can time it just about when they have the final lock. Then you deploy your flares, and then they have to go through that whole lock-on sequence again, pretty much rendering them, especially if you're playing against a kind of a noobish player, defenseless whenever you're locking onto them, because they always waited. Anyway, It'll be interesting to see how the flares work now. Now they only work against once the missiles are tracking your vehicle. Also, they're making the anti-air missiles more able to lock on quicker with jets, so they'll be more of a factor now when you're flying against jets. And they're also reducing the effectiveness of the cannon on the jets versus other jets, basically. They're improving the F-35. It's going to be a little more agile, and I think they're only going to allow it to hover at lower altitudes. We'll see how that goes. They're also equipping ejection seats for the F-35 and the Su-35, allowing you to vacate the vehicle without getting roadkilled by it, like a lot of times. Well, other miscellaneous stuff, I don't need to get too in-depth on all that. Let's get to the important stuff you want to talk about. Weapons. First of all, the AS Val, which is my favorite PDW, one of my favorite weapons. I already got 1,000 kills with it. But they're giving it extended mags, which is just awesome. But as a consequence, they're also making it more inaccurate, increasing the recoil, horizontal and vertical. They're also reducing the recoil on some of the semi-automatic sniper rifles like the SKS, and increasing its damage at close range, because not many people use that. M26 mask, which you're seeing right here, beastie. I love this attachment on the G3. It just makes this gun so versatile. Makes it, just a complete beast at close range, and then you switch to it for medium to long range with the G3. And you can see here, how it just cut through this team like Swiss cheese with this thing, just getting kill after kill. One shot there. Here's another shot here. Come back around, teammate got it here. There's another one. This gun, I don't know why you guys don't run this attachment, and especially now they're increasing the effectiveness again of the M26 frag rounds and the slug rounds. I don't really use those. I use a buckshot, but you can also get now shotgun ribbons with the M26, so they pretty much treat it like a shotgun now. All semi-automatic and bolt action shotguns and slugs now have their maximum damage out to 15 meters, so I think they're giving that a little bit of buff. I'm not sure what that is. I don't use shotguns much, guys, because I think they're just too noobish for me. This overall, I just don't care for them. I think it just doesn't require much skill. You may as well just close your eyes, and you'll just be probably as effective as you are with them open in terms of close range engagements. You have half the reticle of the screen pretty much just to hit your target. But I'll talk more about shotguns in a minute. Semi-automatic weapons, I'll believe this when I see it, because they've yet to ever fix this with this game. But guns like the SKS, M39, the semi-automatic weapons where you can basically shoot the trigger or fire the weapon quicker than the game will recognize it. They're fixing that lag, so they're supposed to, feel more comfortable. We'll see how that goes up. Like I say, they've been trying to fix that since the game came out. But the frag round's a big one. Those are getting nerfed huge. They're reducing the rate of fire with frags, like the USAS type guns, and MK3. Reducing. I really didn't see any here that they're really reducing the damage. They're just reducing the splash damage on them. So they're also in shotguns while mentioning frags and all that. Goodbye frag round, thankfully, hopefully. They're also reducing the buckshot pellets from 12 to 9 on the shotgun. So they're basically making a tighter pattern. Like I was mentioning earlier, how I don't think it takes much skill to use a shotgun. Maybe you'll have to actually aim a little bit more with it now at close range. And that's across the board with the exception of the 870 pump action. That's still staying strictly as is. But the DAO-12, the M1014, pretty much reducing the buckshot on that. Some other small tweaks in there. Like the M1014, they're increasing the rate of fire just slightly. It's just kind of performing in comparison to our shotguns. The MK13, they're compensating for its slower rate of fire as an automatic shotgun in comparison to USAS by giving it a larger magazine capacity from 8 rounds to 12, and the USAS 12, which everybody loves to use, they're reducing that, or increasing the initial recoil a bit, and of course reducing the pellets. Moving on to the engineer class, basically, this patch, I swear, they're just tailoring it for my needs. They're just buffing all the guns I use, and nobody else uses it, seems like. The SG-553, one of my favorite engineer class guns, reducing the recoil horizontally and vertically. The SCAR-H, they're increasing the damage and maximum range of that weapon. So basically, I think it does a minimum of 20 damage and that's at its longest range, and max I think still 25. Not many other changes in the engineer class. M4A1 still pretty much no change. It's going to be, that's still your overall well-rounded gun right there. On to the assault class. Let's start it off with the FAMAS. Yeah, I can't wait to hear what they're doing about this. A lot of rumors go around. Well, all they're really doing, they're pretty much leaving it as is, other than they're reducing the clip size from 30 rounds to 25. So now again, it's basically a glorified Val, and you only gonna get one kill with that gun. And I mean, yeah, that's beastie one kill gun. That's about it. Other than that, you're pretty much screwed because it's long reload time. And so good luck with that, guys, if you run that gun. And same thing with the AEK 971. It's another gun I hate that I see everybody use. I hate the reload time on that gun, but they're increasing the recoil of that gun, reducing the aimed accuracy. They say slightly, but you know, anytime you nerf the aimed accuracy, I just start hating guns. So that gun's getting nerfed. M16A3 is still the same, no change. It's still gonna be a beastie gun, but they're also buffing the AN94, giving it a reduction in the vertical recoil, because that thing's just like a bucking horse. It's just uncontrollable. But my gun, the G3A3, look at this. What was that? You know, jumping down there. Do you see that? It would go down 3 levels and didn't lose any health. Kind of like, you know, all agile there. What do they call that? Parkour? Yeah, I went parkour on that ledge right there. G3A3, my gun. 34 damage now. Who wants some? That's a 3-bullet kill, and it still has its meager fire rate, but hey, with 3 bullets, I'll put that up against anything. So, they're reducing the vertical recoil on that gun, so if you haven't locked that in co-op, I would encourage you to do so, because you will be seeing me rape and pillage with that gun all day long. Cage 2002, no change. I never use it, I don't know why. But the L85A2, like you're seeing here, just, I love this gun. It already has the lowest recoil of any assault rifle, and they are, again, increasing the accuracy and reducing muzzle drift, like it has any already. So, I would encourage you to unlock this weapon if you don't have the Back to Karkin expansion, which I can't imagine why you wouldn't. Even more so, great gun. I think definitely either my first or second choice when it comes to assault class. It's a tough choice between this and the G3. It just depends on the circumstances. I think I mentioned this, or I did it already, but I just want to quickly mention again with the sniper rifles. It's such a weak class. Recon class is so weak. They're going to make basically a one-shot kill with the bolt-action guns if you hit them in the torso up at 15 meters or less, which is definitely a requirement. That gun, if you take the time again to hit that, make that one-shot count, it should be a one-shot kill, because if you miss, you're screwed, and if you hit him and you don't kill him, you're screwed. So, I mean, what else are you supposed to do with that kind of gun? Moving on to the PDWs, I mentioned the Val upgrades. Not much else other than, you know, reducing initial recoils on some weapons like PP2000 and the PP19, and just not much going on there. Again, that grouping of weapons is just, if you like it, stick with it. I don't care for. Let's move on to accessories. Basically, the bipod, again, getting a huge buff. They're reducing the deploy time of the bipod from 40 to 50% depending on the weapon, which is huge. And of course, it increases the accuracy and significantly reduces recoil of all either assault or carbine weapons or LMGs. Again, it's all weapon specific. I'll have the specifics out based on the guns when the patch comes out. Heavy barrel, huge buff. This could be my attachment of choice now. They're increasing the accuracy of aimed firing, increasing your bullet speed. You get matched ammo with that, increases the range of the weapon. It's basically good for short range bursts at long range now. Aimed accuracy bonus, like I mentioned. I mean, this is basically increased effectiveness of this gun for small bursts, long range. Just makes your gun much more versatile, given an added long range capability. But you're gonna, as a reduction or consequence, you're going to see some reduction in hip fire accuracy. Infrared sight attachments could be a little more uniform across the maps, or more consistent in its vision. Foregrip and suppressor, these are two big ones. Foregrip I'm not sure on yet. It still does a horizontal sway reduction, but we'll have to see how that goes with long range accuracy. There's supposedly a penalty with that. The suppressor is getting a big nerf. I'm not going to put this crap on my gun, because basically reduces your aimed accuracy from 50% to 25%. Are you kidding me? Only 25%? increase in aimed accuracy. You may as well just shoot from the hip everywhere with it, because to me it's going to be useless unless you're like point blank range or close quarters. But long range, forget it. But the recoil bonus remains unchanged with suppressor at 10%, and of course you get a penalty firing from the hip. Flash suppressor is getting a huge buff. Basically, it's the same stuff as the suppressor used to, but it no longer reduces accuracy for automatic fire. It also reduces your recoil and gives you just a small hip fire penalty. So take a look at the flash suppressor. It may be considerably better. Big thing on the gadgets, so I want to quickly cover. The MAV no longer be able to roadkill, thank God. You can no longer use it as a personal elevator, huge advantage. Claymores, they only last for 5 seconds after you die as opposed to the whole match. And you can also use them to kill people in jeeps now if they hit that, so that's interesting. But that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the footage here. I know I ran through a lot of that quickly, but we'll spend more time when the game actually comes out, and I'll be analyzing that stuff in more details. But that's the highlights. Hope to give you a heads up on it. Thanks for watching. Please like the video if it helped you out, and I'll have more to come.